Welcome to episode 170. The podcast had its birthday last October, but now it is January. It is my turn, and I'm going to be near me mid-40s. I'm not going to tell you how old I am. No, I'm going to be that vain. But many years on this planet, less than 45. As I get older, I do find more things get right up my nose and on my tripe. This podcast, so off the end of my 30s, and who knows, may see me into my 70s. If I can groan that long and stay tech savvy, it will be a miracle. With this special, Admin Nicole has given events that happened on different years on my birthday. Thank you, Admin Nicole. We also have random games popping up, as well as Groan Tent. It won't all be birthday themed, unfortunately, but as with all specials, I can't guarantee, or I should say we can't guarantee, what we're going to put in. And also, to try and be a little bit different, I'm going to try and do this unscripted. So wish me luck, Groaners. Speaking of groans, my groans are coming up, as well as the audience groan later on. My groans now, here we go. Getting older. Of course, what happens when you get older? You have more medical problems, less physical abilities. Your doctor, for some magical reasons, their priority changes from certain areas of the front towards the back, which is a little bit discomforting for me. But that's my first groan. Groan number 2. People who can't remember your birthday. You tell them time and time again when your birthday is, yet every year they ask you the same thing. Please get a diary or get a phone, a smartphone, and put in there your friends' birthdays, your family's birthdays, and stop asking the people who you know their birthday's coming up soon, when's your birthday? Because then you'll know. Going on from that, people who know they've missed your birthday, then ask when it is and how old you are. You clearly knew when my birthday was, yet you chose to forget it. And then you're asking me how old I am. You have every right to feel guilty, as you should, for forgetting someone's birthday and then trying to bury it under a blatant question. Yeah. No, that does not fly with me whatsoever. Unfortunately not. That's my groans moved out the way, Groaners. Let's get on with the rest of the show. I've groaned on enough. And also, speaking of games, and I forgot to tell you, Groaners, I did say random games. You got Don't Quote Me on That, the 5-point countdown, What the Hell Is This? Or is it? Yeah, it is. It is What the Hell Is This? And I lost track. Must be age. And Yes or BS. You also got Groan 10 sections, such as Oh, Unlucky, Hero of the Week, and Why or Why. And speaking of why or why, we're going to do the exact thing first. False medication or vaccination theories. We all know these ones. We've had one saying, well, if you inject bleach into your body, you'll be absolutely fine. No, that didn't cure COVID at all. I'm not going to name the person that came up with that one, but we all know who that did that. We also have the one who, with next to no research, claimed that the measles jab causes certain problems in kids. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Or was it just females? I can't remember. It was either autism or something else. But the guy had no research and couldn't back it up. Yet people were not immunizing their kids against things which should be gone with the dark ages, like measles. That's making a comeback in some areas because people are not vaccinated due to misinformation. Weigh this up. Would you rather have a vaccination that protects you and your loved ones in your system. So if you get in contact with something like that, your body will be like, "Way, no, get out." Or would you rather not be vaccinated, and then a little pathogen like measles gets its way in there and decides to play havoc with your systems, and then at the end of it you go, "I wish I had a vaccination." Well, that's why they were invented. So, yes, if ever you think, "Oh, I don't need this vaccination," weigh up, do you want to catch the disease or whatever, and possibly, if it's that bad, die? Or would you rather live and have the antibodies? Weigh it up. False medication theories or vaccination theories. Why, oh why, is this a thing? Also, if I was incorrect about the measles thing, do feel free to correct me, groaners. I couldn't exactly remember off the top of my head, but I'm sure it was some doctor somewhere who either didn't have any research or he had research but was all wrong. So if I am wrong on that fact, do feel free to correct me, groaners. Just to be a little bit different as well, groaners, I know normally we do the game answers at the end, but to be completely random and throw it out there, I'm going to say the answer for anagram anxiety from last week was mellifluous. That's mellifluous. And that is a word that describes something that is pleasingly smooth and musical to hear. Well, I had no idea what that is, and now I know. Thank you, admin Nicole. And well done if you actually got that. I didn't have a blessed clue. Sticking with admin Nicole, here we go with the first of 5 facts for things that happened on my birthday in January. The first one, and these are in yearly order, by the way, groaners, as we go through the podcast. In 1689, Prince William of Orange, he's the future King William III of Britain, summoned the Convention Parliament to discuss ruling jointly with his wife Mary, the daughter of the exiled King James II. History. Would you believe it? Thanks, Nicole. Now then, groaners, we're going to play our first game. Now remember, like I said, these are all unscripted. So if I lose track or anything, one of you feel free to nudge me in the ribs and I'll get back on track. 5-pound countdown. Again, we're going to do it a bit differently. I'm going to give you all 5 clues off the top of my head. Hopefully don't repeat myself. And you have to guess at the end from which clue gave you the thing which I'm talking about. Here we go. Clue 5 for 5 points. You can make it with flour. Clue number 4 for 4 points. There are many different varieties of this special type of dessert. Clue number 3 for 3 points. It isn't always a dessert, but can be bought out on special occasions. Clue number 2 for 2 points. You can have it at any age. From when you're born, well, you can't eat it when you're born, right the way through to when you're in your hundreds, as some people do live a bit long, whereby maybe you've got to put it into a blender by then. I'm not being ageist there, but by then you may have to put it into a blender. And finally, clue number 1 for 1 point. If you sometimes get this thing, you may have to make a wish with it. The answer, groaners, will come at the end, but feel free to have a little pause here, have a think, see what clue gave you the biggest and what it is, and then those points from that clue are yours, groaners. Groaners, we're going to go back over at admin Nicole now with the creepy story for this week, which is of course called, I don't know why I said which is of course called, because this is the first time I'm reading the story, which is called Where Fate Intervened. Also, slight problem with the stories in the past, groaners. I know when I'm editing in post, sometimes the music isn't suitable. Unfortunately, that just tends to happen, groaners. I am sorry, but it's one of those things that's out of my control. If for some reason I put up Janet Jackson with an upbeat beat during the middle of Creepy Corner, and then after that we've got, I don't know, Culture Club, Do You Really Want to Hurt Me? 2 different spectrums, I'm really sorry. Anyway, back on track. Here we go with the story. It wasn't long after Robin and Carla's 12th birthdays. Everything was grand. Robin was a junior priest now, spreading the message across the village. He was happy. Carla had begun training under the Grand Council. She wasn't sure what role would be granted once she was old enough, so she had to learn everything. As the two got busy, the cracks began to appear. Lily was left alone more and more. They didn't meet up as often as they used to, and yet with Robin and Carla's futures now intertwined, they were never apart. What was once the three of them became only two. They did their best to hide the cracks though. Robin checked on his sister as often as he could, and Carla would sneak off at any chance she got to be with Lily. In some ways, without realising it, Lily was jealous. She was beginning to lose her brother and her best friend, but even more than that, the Grand Council saw no potential in her. Robin was getting his lifelong dream of becoming a high priest, and with Carla being chosen to learn the workings of the inner sanctum of the Grand Council, Lily was alone. She wasn't chosen for some grand position, just the usual chores, getting water from the well or helping out everywhere she could. Lily wanted more. She wanted to be more, to be loved. She was still too young for her parents to love her, and her brother wasn't around as much anymore, so the tiny stem of love she had was dying. If only that was the worst of it though. Lily had a secret that the others didn't know about. She was tired of being alone and eventually decided to make the village see her worth. A reckless decision that she never could have anticipated the consequences of. It was always suspected that Lily changed her entire viewpoint and personality when she lost her brother, but that wasn't the case. All that did was cement a growing doubt in her mind and force it to stay and take root. There was one name no one ever thought to question Lily about. Davis, the child whose blessing forced him to walk to the top of the hill where the dead were laid to rest and become a tree. A weeping willow at that. Now the official reason they know it's him is because of his watcher on the night of the blessing ceremony. The reality was in fact that his watcher lost sight of him and Lily was the one who saw him turn. What she never told anyone that night was that Davis warned her before he turned. He told her how much it hurt, how much he didn't want this. He told Lily to find the truth. Something was wrong with their village. As tears beamed down his face and his body stiffened and changed, he uttered one final word. Robin. This was the actual moment that Lily began to change. Even then she suspected he became a weeping willow because he was crying in his last moments and now would cry forevermore. Davis was the reason Lily changed, and from that day on she left flowers in front of his tree every year, apologising to him and hoping his pain was finally over. She never told anyone though. She continued life as normal, happy and carefree, at least on the outside. She actually began to enjoy that no one paid her any attention. It allowed her to come and go as she pleased, until the day she lost her brother. She had snuck in the archives, trying to find anything she could to bring Davis back. It took months of planning to get past all that security, but as she grabbed a book, she heard footsteps and hid. It was her brother and Carla alone in the archives. They locked the doors and checked all the windows. Lily stayed as silent as she could and overheard the two. It's all here. We finally found the proof. It took us years, but we can finally get you and Lily out of here. I had so much faith in them most of my life. I never would have guessed that becoming a priest meant learning what we both know now. At least the council don't know. They don't know what we have planned. We need to take this chance. It might be our only one. The three of us can finally go and be a real family. We can escape. We have that fast though. We're getting our blessings soon. I don't think we can avoid that, but Lily can be saved from it, Robin said. I wish we had told her. I wish we could have told her everything, but safety comes with ignorance. The less she knows, the better. She still loves the village and has no idea what the council are doing. Unfortunately, we'll have to lie to Lily just a little longer. Once we're free, no more lies, and we can just forget about this awful place, Carla replied. However, the council did know. They knew exactly what happened, and mere moments later, there was banging on the door. They were caught. There was no going back. Robin took all the paperwork and hid it in his clothes. He told Carla to say nothing. He would take the fall. He will save them both. That's what he did. He confessed everything. Then the blessing ceremony came, and Robin was gone. Lily was alone. So much trauma had now taken root so deeply in her that all she could feel was guilt and pain. So much pain. Carla stayed by her side as much as possible for the next year. The reason Carla wasn't punished, even though the Grand Council knew she was also to blame, was simply because they needed Lily to take her blessing. They need to know if she was the one they had been waiting for to take their plans to the next level. Lucky for them, their own plan worked out. Lily got a blessing far better than they could have hoped for, and in doing so, keeping Carla alive was worth it. They were able to use her to get Lily to willingly give up her own autonomy and mind. Carla was useless after that, so she became the sacrifice, and now the Grand Council had death itself under their control. Ah, Admin Nicole, so these are the inner workings what led up to the previous story actions, or should I say, the Council's evil plans from the very start. I'm beginning to really dislike this Council. In fact, I never liked them from the start. I hope you're setting them up for a massive fall. Well written, Admin Nicole. We'll have more Creepy Corner next week, Groaners. But now, speaking of yourselves, we have a groan which came in to the email fresh from Colin Stepman from South Gosforth. And his groan is not giving people time to get off a train or a metro. And that was his only line that he gave me in the groan. Please, Groaners, if you're going to give me a groan, do embellish on it a little bit. So now what this means is I've got to go with that a little bit more. Yep, every time I get in a train or a metro being like the local train system here, kind of like the American subway, I let people get off before I get on. It's basic manners, plus you don't want to be in a stampede. Why not just wait? If the person getting off presses the button first, fair enough. If you press the button first, fair enough. Step back, let them off, you can get on. It is called common sense, Groaners. Let people off the train first, especially if they've got bags. Just common sense. Good groan there, very good groan. If you want to take part in the show, you can do so in many ways. Send us your groan tent, ideas, heroes or zeros or nominations. Anything you like, send it in to us and we'll do our best to put it in the show. You can drop it into the email, which is thegroanzonepod@gmail.com. You can shoot off the Facebook groups, which is the Groan Zone Podcast Facebook group. You can join us on Discord, where we're not live just yet again on the Groan Zone. There you can look at past answers, drop answers for the games when it's live, and all those sorts of things. You can contact Admin Nicole on Facebook Messenger, which is Nicole Amos, and also contact me on Facebook Messenger, which is Mr. E. Groaner. And lastly, you can drop a comment on any episode on YouTube, Audible, Spotify. We're on so many platforms, I've actually lost count. We're even on YouTube. You put a comment on there, alert us to the fact you've done that, and we will do our best to either action your feedback, put your groan at the show, use your groan tent, or whatever you send us. We can't do this show without you, Groaners. We need your groans and everything else. Thank you for sending anything in. It is greatly appreciated. Well, Groaners, we've had Creepy. We've had another groan from yourselves. That leaves us to go on with another fact. And then we're going to drop straight into Don't Quote Me on That, which is the movie quotes game. Okay, here we go. Admin Nicole's birthday fact, number 2. In 1771, Spain cedes the Falkland Islands to Britain. I think I must have mispronounced that. CDES. My apologies if I butchered that word. My mistake. And now we're going straight on with Don't Quote Me on That. 3 rounds of movie magic, Groaners. Here we go with round number 1.
Oh, hey. Girl.
Silence!
Are you always as charming in the morning?
Just this one.
I'll give you one clue to this one, Groaners. It's a sort of comedy horror movie. Good luck. Pause here. Have a guess. And then unpause as we move on to round number 2.
Friend entail me doing everything I don't want to do. Please, Felicia, not in Daddy's ear. Excuse me, Mr. Shrek. Could you do that ogre roar of yours for my son? He's a big, big fan.
Do the roar.
You know, I'd rather not.
Well, Groaners, pause here. Have a think. Big clue, it is Shrek. but which Shrek movie is it? Yes, I know that is cruel, but have a guess. You never know, you might get it. There've been that many Shrek movies now, even I've lost count. As we now move on to round number 3.
What do you think? What would be the perfect flavor with this meal? Care to know it? No. If it was Chinese food, right on the money. But this, toasted almonds.
What's going on? Barry can pick out the exact right flavor of ice cream to follow any meal. Go ahead. Challenge him. Challenge him.
Come on.
Franks and beans.
Scoop of chocolate, scoop of vanilla. Don't waste my time.
I'll throw you a clear for this one, Groaners, especially if it's a little bit quiet. 2 big names, Jack Palance, Billy Crystal. Match them together and you might figure out what movie it is. If you haven't seen it, good luck. If you have seen it but don't know the quotes, also good luck. Pause here, have a guess, and then unpause. This takes us neatly, Groaners, onto our hero of the week. And it's a bit back in the past, so just bear with us. In 1976, Stemmatus Moriatis was diagnosed with a form of terminal lung cancer by 9 different doctors and was told, well, given I should say, he only had around about 6 months to live. Instead of undergoing the treatment, which was very aggressive in the USA, he decided to move back to his ancestral home on the Greek island of Ikaria. That's Ikaria. So he could be buried with his ancestors and save his family some money. However, once there, he began breathing the fresh air, drinking the local wine, and tending to his garden. He didn't die in 6 months. Instead, he felt so strong, stronger than ever, and eventually even outlived all the doctors who originally had diagnosed him. He lived for another 37 years, passing away peacefully at the age of 98, although some records do say 102, but without ever having to go through chemo. Can I just say, that man there was very brave to do that, because as far as he knew, we only had 6 months to go, or around about 6 months. But in doing so and making that change, he lived for so much longer. Groaners, if ever you're going through a struggle and you think life's getting you down, or you've came across with some really bad news, something like that for example, make a change. You never know. Life finds a way. The human body is a magical thing, and if you give the body time to heal, you never know. You could even move mountains. Don't quote me on this, I'm not saying you're going to be immortal or anything, but you never ever know. May he rest in peace, Stammatus. You were a very brave man and an inspiration. Thank you. This takes us to 2 more birthday facts. That's 2 more years on events that happened on my birthday. In 1831, Charles Darwin took his Bachelor's of Art exam at Christ College, Cambridge, coming 10th out of 171 candidates. I know he's long since dead, but well done, Darwin. Hopefully at some point we are going to get the game-inspired Darwin Award. Well, the Darwin Award-inspired game, Double Down Dummy's back. I don't know when that's going to come back, Groaners, but it will at some point. It's semi-retired, not fully retired. In 1840, New Zealand company settlers arrive aboard the Aurora Ate Wenganguya Atara. I'm going to spell that. That's Aurora Atte Whanganul. Oh, sorry, UI ATR. So ATARA. That is a mouthful, and I'm sorry if I butchered that, which I know I did. And that became Port Nicholson in Wellington. More facts, or I should say 1 more fact, to come later, Groaners. And now, Groaners, we move on to Oh Unlucky. They say in some cultures, Friday the 13th, or birthdays which fall on a Tuesday, especially in Greece and Spain, are considered unlucky. However, based on science, there is no evidence that any specific date carries bad luck. But if you really believe this, and your birthday falls on a Tuesday, thank God mine's on a Thursday, you are unlucky. Groaners, we're coming into our last game of the show, and well, almost last game of the show. I lied. We're now going to move on to yes or BS. You all know this one. I give you 3 random statements or facts. 2 of them or 1 of them could be BS. 2 of them or 1 of them could be true. You just don't know. Here we go. Round number 1. Humans actually glow in the dark, but the light we give off is 1,000 times weaker than our eyes can detect. B. In a group of only 23 people, there is a 50% chance that 6 of them share the same birthday. C. In ancient Greece, people placed lit candles on cakes shaped like the moon as offerings to Artemis, the goddess of the moon, to make them glow like the night sky. Pause, Groaners. Pick a statement and then unpause as we move on to round number 2. And I'm not naming these rounds, Groaners. This is live. I'm not naming the rounds. So sorry there's going to be no funky names, unfortunately. Round number 2. Here we go. A. Ancient Greeks believed that the smoke from birthday candles carried their prayers and wishes up to the gods in the heavens. B. In 18th century France, children's cakes had candles each year of their age, plus 1 extra candle called the Light of Life to represent hope for the coming year. Or C. One tradition suggests that the light given off from candles was meant to illuminate the birthday person to make them feel special. Pause here, Groaners. Pick your statement and then unpause as we move on to the last round for SBS, round number 3. This one's going to be a little bit blunt, Groaners, so here we go. A. Serena Williams, that's the tennis player, doesn't celebrate her birthday. B. Mariah Carey doesn't celebrate her birthday. And C. The late Prince Philip always had his birthdays made into a special occasion, especially at Buckingham Palace. Pause here, Groaners. Have a little think, answer, then unpause. And the answers are coming sooner than you think. This neatly takes us on to our last birthday year fact from admin Nicole. In 1908, Katie Mulcahy was arrested for lighting a cigarette, violating the 1-day-old Sullivan Ordinance banning women from smoking in public, and is fined, I keep saying is like it's happening now, and was fined $5. Appearing before the judge, she stated, "I've got as much right to smoke as you have. I never heard of this new law, and I don't want to hear about it. No man shall dictate to me." Well, I don't smoke, but if you do smoke, your choice. Here come the game answers, Groaners. Here we go. So for the £5 countdown, what was I looking for? I was looking for birthday cake. Well done if you got any one of the clues there, Groaners. For don't quote me on that, round 1, that was Happy Death Day. For round 2, the film I was looking for was Shrek Forever After. I've not seen that one. I think I've seen Shrek 1 and 2, but after that I just stopped watching them. I've seen clips, but never really watched them. Plus, come on, I'm in my 40s. Really? And the last one, that was an outside edge bet, because one of the main characters has a birthday. It is called, or was called, City Slickers, starring Billy Crystal and the late Jack Palance. Moving on for yes or BS, Groaners. If you picked B in round number 1, I regret to inform you as a birthday boy, you have no points. If you went for A or C, congrats. For a gift from me, you have a point. For round number 2, if you went for B or C, again, I hate to inform you, you've got 0 points because you've just been blanked, Groaner. I'm sorry, B was Germany, and in the last one, C, the birthday candles actually were meant to warn off demons. If you went for A, congrats, you've still got points. And if you lost points in round 1 and you didn't have any, you now have a point. Treasure it for round number 3. And for round number 3, A and C are correct. As a Jehovah's Witness, Serena Williams doesn't celebrate her birthday. B, Mariah Carey just treats it as going through life. And if you went for C, you now have no points. Because Prince Philip, late Prince Philip I should say, didn't want any fuss and just saw his birthday as a normal working day. If you got a clean sweep, Groaners, well done for SBS. If you didn't and you got blanked, don't worry, there's always the end of the show game to get more, and there's always next week to get more points for the next games. Speaking of the last game, here we go. For what the hell is this? Your clue is this. It's quite possibly the biggest birthday cake in a country in the Eastern Hemisphere. Good luck, Groaners. The text point on the picture will give you a little bit of a hint where it might be, but I'm looking for exactly which city and which country. Good luck. I know the clue's not very good, but good luck. Hopefully the picture gives you some idea. And that, Groaners, takes us to the end of our unscripted show. Well, loosely unscripted. Some of them I did have to look up facts like the games and everything else, but we did our best to make it unscripted because I thought, let's be a bit different and have it unscripted. Of course, the editing might be a bit of a pain in the bum because it is already quite late on when I'm recording this, but this will be going live on the Friday, the day after my birthday. It's only going to miss it by 1 day, but never mind. Anyway, Groaners, we will see you next week. You take care out there. Bye-bye. Her to get Lily to willingly give her but that the light given off from candles was meant to illuminate the birthday